Is a Super El Nino coming? Maybe, maybe not. And honestly, the word super is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. But a strong El Nino may be developing. And even if it doesn't become some record breaking monster, it could still change weather patterns around the world, including your local forecast. The last so called Super El Nino happened during the winter of 2015 to 2016. That season helped fuel extreme global heat, severe drought in some regions, flooding in others, and a very active Pacific hurricane season. In fact, the Pacific saw an unusual burst of tropical cyclone activity, including the rare sight of three Category 4 storms spinning at the same time. So, when people start talking about another strong El Nino, it's worth paying attention. But first, what is El Nino? Normally, trade winds blow across the tropical Pacific from east to west. Those winds push warm surface water toward Asia and Australia, while cooler water rises near South America. During El Nino, those winds weaken. Warm water shifts back toward the central and eastern Pacific. That changes where storms form, where rain falls, and how heat moves through the atmosphere. In other words, the ocean rearranges the weather map. And that matters because El Nino doesn't affect every place the same way. On the Atlantic side, El Nino often helps suppress hurricane activity by increasing wind shear. That can make it harder for Atlantic hurricanes to form and strengthen. That sounds like good news for those of us near the Gulf Coast or Atlantic coast. And sometimes it is, but don't get too comfortable. NOAA has forecast a below normal Atlantic hurricane season, but below normal still means there could be a dozen named storms and several major hurricanes. Below normal does not mean off the hook. It only takes one storm in the wrong place to wreck a place. Meanwhile, the Pacific side can see the opposite effect. El Nino can make the eastern and central Pacific more active, increasing storm risk for places like Mexico, parts of Central America, and sometimes Hawaii. But hurricanes are only one piece of the story. In the United States, El Nino winters often tilt the southern part of the country wetter than usual. That can include California, the Southwest, Texas, the Gulf Coast, and the Southeast. Sometimes that rain is helpful, especially in drought-stricken areas. Sometimes it shows up as flooding, mudslides, road washouts, and storm damage. Farther north, parts of the northern United States may see a milder winter than usual, but milder does not mean no winter. Cold snaps can still happen, blizzards can still happen. El Nino shifts the odds. It does not cancel weather. Globally, the impacts can be even more uneven. Some areas may get too much rain, others may not get nearly enough. Past strong El Nino events have been linked with drought in parts of Africa, Southeast Asia, Australia, and the Caribbean. They've also contributed to global temperature spikes because all that warm Pacific water helps release heat into the atmosphere. That's why strong El Nino events can matter even if you live nowhere near the Pacific Ocean. And now let's talk about the word super. Super El Nino is not really a formal scientific category. It's more of a media shorthand for an unusually strong event, usually when sea surface temperatures in a key part of the Pacific rise around 2 degrees Celsius or more above average. So when you hear Super El Nino, don't think of it as a magic switch that guarantees disaster everywhere. Think of it as a warning that the climate system may be loading the dice. The tricky part is that El Nino forecasts get more reliable as we move closer to fall. Scientists can see the signals building in the ocean, but they still can't know exactly how strong the event will become, or exactly how every region will respond. So, what do you do with a forecast like this? First, don't prepare for the word super, because that's just, as we say, a superlative. Sadly, there isn't a one-size-fits-all prep guide for El Nino because impacts vary. The best you can do right now is stay prepared for your typical local threats. For instance, if you live near the Gulf or Atlantic coast, keep your hurricane supplies ready even during a quieter forecast year. A quieter season can still produce a damaging storm. If you live near a flood-prone river, think of drainage, clean gutters, and escape routes. Don't assume last year's rainfall pattern is the one you'll get this year. If you live somewhere drought-prone, think of water storage and conservation. Stored drinking water, heat-tolerant plants, wildfire awareness, and the possibility of water restrictions or higher utility costs. If you live somewhere that already struggles with extreme heat, plan for that too. A strong El Nino stacked on top of a warmer climate can help push temperatures into record territory. And if you're not sure what El Nino usually means for your area, look it up from a local weather office, not just a national headline. The same El Nino that brings rain to one region can bring drought somewhere else. That's the whole point. A super El Nino does not mean everyone gets the same disaster. It means the forecast map gets rearranged. Some places may get fewer hurricanes. Some may get more Pacific storms. Some may get flooded. Some may get drought. Some may get heat they are not prepared for. So, no, I wouldn't panic over the phrase Super El Nino. But I also wouldn't ignore it. Because even when the name is a little dramatic, the weather impacts can be very real. Stay updated with weather alerts and keep those batteries charged. I hoped this helped demystify the topic of the Super El Nino somewhat. You can share the wealth by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. That way we can help spread awareness and stay connected. Until we chat again, take care of yourself and keep your batteries charged and an eye on the forecast.